it.
That right there is probably the highlight of EA's conference. Just because it was
Wah,
absolutely insane.
wah.
And everyone was high. Everyone was so blatantly stoned that it just made the whole thing hilarious and ridiculous, and it was fun. And the game looks great, but it doesn't necessarily look as good as they're showing. So maybe in the trailers they're showing campaign footage and not, they don't have to render these huge open vistas for 64 people and get that running. And it wasn't running, amazingly on whatever PC rigs they had them playing on. And obviously, there's still time and you need to optimize and all that. So yeah, the point is, I know how it goes sometimes. And when I know that there's a new PlayStation 4 with twice the power probably coming to market before Black Friday, I have to wonder if all of these games that we saw are actually running on that. And if that's the case, what exactly are PlayStation 4 owners going to be playing when they get these games?
See, after they didn't say anything about Neo today, I really feel like they're going to be holding off on it. I can't see them completely ignoring E3 and then jumping into Black Friday sales.
Do you think that was a mistake?
No, I think that Microsoft kind of surprised them with, the power that they had with the Scorpion. So I think Scorpio, forgive me. So I keep thinking of the GIF with the Scorpion King.
With Phil Spencer's head.
Yeah, Phil Spencer's head on the Scorpion King.
That's true.
So I keep saying Scorpio. Yeah, I just think PlayStation got caught off guard by, how powerful the Scorpio is. And so they're like, let's hold off a little bit and make sure ours is equally, if not more powerful.
Sure.
Which is why we ended the conference today with Days Gone instead of information on Neo.
Right. Now, Days Gone, this is from Sony Bend, correct?
Oh my God. It's been so freaking long since Sony Bend announced what the hell they were doing. I'm telling you right now, Colin Moriarty is just losing his shit because he's been begging for that for years. So yeah, they finally revealed The Last of Us 2.
That's good. Cross Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, Cross Sons of Anarchy.
What's funny is that when Hideo Kojima came out to like this incredible intro, they were playing Mad Max music as he was just like ushered into the auditorium. It was amazing. And he showed off a game that I thought it was PT. I thought it was the resurrection of PT because it even starred Norman Reedus. And because of that, I half expected Days Gone, that main character, to be played by Norman Reedus, once the gameplay demo started. Because it had that feel of The Walking Dead and Last of Us and motorcycles and Sons of Anarchy. And he seemed like the perfect, protagonist for something like that. But it wasn't him. But what did you think of what they showed? They showed what could be an open world. It looks vast. We know that. And they showed a whole lot of zombies or zombie-like creatures.
I think that's the only thing that I really thought was great about that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we had never had The Last of Us, then maybe I would have been more excited. But it really just looked like The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that didn't was it looks like the gameplay is a little more action heavy. And then when they had that horde of zombies, that was really cool. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And watching him slowly back up and try to take out, as many as he could using barrels and collapsing bridges and slowly making his way up to the top of the building. That was really cool. But yeah, the story didn't really strike me, and they didn't show a whole lot, but the characters didn't really do anything for me. The story, the world just kind of felt like The Last of Us. It might be a great game, and it's not really fair to say this when we really still know nothing.
It's hard to tell, and I agree. I mean, I think if you want an interesting story, you need to look over at David Cage's Quantic Dream and what they have cooking up with Detroit.
Yeah.
And like Quantic Dream, they made the just really fascinating Indigo Prophecy, also called Fahrenheit. They made Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls on PlayStation 3. And we've seen a lot of tech demos from them recently. When the PlayStation 3, or geez, I keep calling it 3, PlayStation 4 was revealed. They had put together this demo it's like the Dark Sorcerer demo.
The Dark Sorcerer that was the actor, they were filming it. Yeah,
an actor playing a sorcerer, and it's great. Like it looks phenomenal. The performance capture on the actors, which I think you're 100% right, Derrick, with talking about how like the technology has definitely helped conveying a lot of emotion. And the same thing can be said about technology in film as well, and there's a lot of cross-pollinating with video game and film technology, especially in with respect to performance capture, and making CGI characters or video game characters feel real. And David Cage has kind of been a pioneer of that. And sometimes, he's been criticized for creating like interactive movies, and they're not really games. And I thought that Detroit, in a way, is kind of an answer to that criticism. Because, sure, maybe it is still a lot of walking around and a lot of conversations and very little action, and Heavy Rain and Beyond, they were still based on, focused on choices, and the choices you make do kind of haunt you and change the story a little bit. Detroit seems 100% choice-based, where you're talking about, like, they showed maybe a dozen or more different endings to this scene. The scene that they showed for Detroit was a hostage situation where then depending on the evidence you collect as the character, whoever they were playing as, I don't know if he's a cop or he was just brought in as a negotiator, happened to be an AI or a robot. But the amount of clues you collect and information you collect changed the ending to that hostage situation. And I thought that was really impressive. It's kind of like maybe the current epitome of choose your own adventure.
Well, I feel like this is what David Cage has really been building up to. With all the games he's done, like even Heavy Rain, it did have choices, but I felt like in a lot of cases in that game in particular, the choices didn't matter a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So this feels like a fully realized, game where every tiny little thing really matters. And that's really cool because we have tons of games. If you want action, you can play any one of a million games. So I don't mind having a game that's based around choice and story and dialogue and, being a sleuth and so forth. So I think I really welcome the change of pace, but I'm really excited to see what David's able to do with the story for Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. So am I.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just watched the trailer right before this, and yeah, that level of choice and that level of like choose your own adventure-ness, I mean, that's the future of gaming, I think. I think like eventually almost all games will have that level of detail.
Oh, I hope so.
Or at least all like AAA titles.
Let's just hope Mass Effect Andromeda has that level of choice.
Man, that's the dream.
Oh.
Okay, so should we hop on over to EA and talk about the only two good things about that conference?
Well,
or do you want to wrap up on Sony?
I'll make one last. Actually, let me make two. Oh my God, there's so much to talk about with Sony. Yeah. I'll make two comments and I'll try to keep them brief. One, like we had mentioned with God of War, I was shocked to find that I was still interested in Call of Duty. When they showed that Infinite Warfare.
War.
Warfare. Okay, good. When they showed the Infinite Warfare trailer, I had no idea that was Call of Duty. And I was like, oh my God, this looks so cool. My other thought was that grappling hooks are like weapon of the year. Everybody has grappling hooks now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, oh, this looks fantastic. What is this? And when Call of Duty popped up on the screen, I wanted to smack myself. But yeah, like that, it looks really cool. And I was really shocked to find myself interested in a Call of Duty game again.
I thought I was done with Call of Duty. I'm a long time fan of the series. I played every iteration except for Black Ops 3. I just hit that saturation point and I had to tap out. I played very briefly. I played the beta for Black Ops 3 and was like, it is Call of Duty. Yeah, it's good, but I think I'm out. And I didn't realize we were watching an Infinite Warfare trailer because they put that at the very end of the VR showcase, and they didn't introduce it as Call of Duty. So I just thought, honestly, we were seeing this like virtual reality space simulator.
Yeah.
And and I was freaking out, going, "This is it. This is the VR game I wanted." And then they like land on a ship or whatever it was outside of, like in the orbit of the planet. I don't even know if they were in Earth. There was so much visual information. I'm not sure what we were watching. And they landed the ships on the surface of this other vessel and got out. And I was like, wait a second, this is Call of Duty, isn't it? But very impressive, I thought. And it might be enough to pull me back in. And I had written it off, especially in a year where we have, Battlefield 1 looks great. It's still Battlefield, which is good if you're a fan of the series. But, the World War I setting is interesting and, a titch controversial because of how brutal that war was, even though all wars are brutal. There isn't, really the peaceful, non-bloody war. But particularly World War I was atrocious. Yeah. So you have to be careful in a setting like that. You need to make sure that you respect, the people who died and how they died and all that. But, that game looks really good. And Titanfall, which opened EA's press conference, I thought looked spectacular. And, this is the first iteration in the series. There's only been one game. The first Titanfall did not have a single player campaign. It had an online kind of campaign hybrid where you played through multiplayer maps the same way as you normally would, except there was an order that you would play the maps. And they had kind of a vague story that was, connecting these different levels. And then you played on both sides, the militia and then the IMC. And it was okay. I mean, it was kind of pointless. And it made people... go ahead.
Did the little bit of story that they had in the first one, because I didn't play it, did the little bit of story, I guess, insinuate that there were aliens, or did it get into any of the story that they've now introduced with Titanfall 2, with the AI Titans,
the Transformers?
Yes. Did they allude to Optimus Prime being in the sequel?
They did not, as far as I remember. And honestly, the story in Titanfall 1 is so thin. It's interesting as you're playing it and you're kind of hearing bits and pieces of radio chatter that's supposed to be the story. It's kind of interesting if you take a second to eavesdrop, but it's nothing like that. In the maps, you see various alien species, various monsters, kind of in the background, almost like they're part of the skybox, if you were, but nothing like what they showed. They showed in the Titanfall 2 campaign trailer, they showed something that, looked a little, it looked similar to kind of a Call of Duty meets Halo in a way. Or, even kind of like these like little Half-Life vibes maybe.